Hey everyone, I'm Tatiana, and today I'm going to be giving you your Alibaba checklist. 6 things that you must do before you place your order on Alibaba.com. So what I would recommend is that you go ahead and bookmark this video, because yes, it's good to watch this video in full so that we can plant these seeds in your mind right now. However, when it comes time for you to place your order, you're going to want to reference this video again and review it just to make sure that you're checking off all these boxes. So it's very important because we want to make sure that we're protecting you from illegitimate suppliers, but we also want to protect your brand by only sourcing the highest quality products from the top suppliers. So let's get started. We've got a lot to cover. So the first thing I want you to check is to only select qualified suppliers. Well, what makes a qualified supplier? I have 4 things that I'd like you to review. Number 1 is to understand Alibaba's badge system. So they've got a bit of a badge system. You might see 2 badges, Gold Supplier and Verified Supplier. The Gold Supplier means that the supplier has paid a membership fee. But what's more important than that is the Verified Supplier badge, which means that the supplier has been audited by a third party, either online or offline. And so their production capabilities, their system management, their products, all of that has been audited and verified, and that's going to give you more peace of mind knowing that the supplier is who they say they are and they are a trusted supplier. So this is helpful because when you're searching for a product on Alibaba.com, you're going to see thousands of products that show up. And so they've got a filter system, and you can check, you can select only verified suppliers to be displayed, and that's going to help narrow that list down. Now, the second thing I want you to check is how many years has this supplier been a supplier on Alibaba.com. Now, this is helpful because there are some suppliers who have only 1 year or 2 years that they've been on Alibaba.com, and maybe they just haven't been on long enough. They haven't been seeing as much demand for their products as they hoped, and then they all of a sudden decide they no longer want to be displayed on Alibaba.com, and that's not helpful for you because you want a supplier who's been around for a long time, who is experienced, because that gives you certainty that 3 years from now when you want to place an order again, they're still going to be around. So I recommend only looking for suppliers that have at least 3 years of experience selling on Alibaba.com. Anything below that, yes, it's still worth possibly contacting them and finding out more details, but there are plenty of suppliers who have 10 years experience selling on Alibaba.com. Okay, now the third thing I want you to check is to choose suppliers who accept trade assurance. So trade assurance is something that Alibaba provides, and it's a type of insurance for your order. And I highly recommend that you take advantage of this. So I place all of my orders through Alibaba.com. I use Alibaba to find my suppliers, and then once I found my suppliers, I place my order using trade assurance. And so that gives me peace of mind that my order, I'm going to get the products that I'm expecting to receive. So essentially, when you place an order with trade assurance, you are going to be sending the money to Alibaba, and Alibaba will be holding that money for you until you receive the products from the supplier, or until your supplier ships those products and you've received them at whatever the destination is. So it's kind of like an escrow, and so this gives you a lot of kind of assurance that you're going to get what it is that you're expecting to receive. So there are plenty of suppliers that accept trade assurance, and so I recommend filtering out those suppliers to make sure that the suppliers you're searching for do accept trade assurance. Now, the fourth thing that I want you to check is for compliance certification for customs clearance. So depending on what products you wish to import, you may need certain certifications in order for those products to clear customs. And so, for example, if you're going to sell electronic products in the US, you'll need an FCC certificate. And so the suppliers often can provide these certifications, and you can check to make sure that they have those in advance. So I do recommend looking into that. If you know what products you want to to source from Alibaba.com, then you can find out what kind of certifications are necessary for clearing customs in your country. And that way, when you're searching for suppliers on Alibaba, you can make sure that these suppliers are providing those certificates in advance. Number 2, communicate with these suppliers. So Alibaba.com has this messaging system, kind of like an instant messaging system, and I think it's great because it helps you to stay organized with all of these suppliers that you're going to be contacting, and you will be contacting a lot. So if you're just going to be, sending them WhatsApp messages or WeChat, those are fine too. You can absolutely do that, but I find it to be a little bit more disorganized because you might be chatting with one person, but then you forget, oh, what is the manufacturer called, and you forget what their name is. Versus if you just use the messaging system that's built into Alibaba, then you can easily reference back, click on the supplier's link, see the supplier's website, see their catalog very easily. So I recommend doing that. Now, what should you be asking your supplier? Well, first of all, the price that you see listed on Alibaba.com when you are searching for products is usually not how much the product is actually going to cost. Yes, sometimes they are accurate, but usually the prices are a bit lower because the suppliers want to attract your attention. So if you want to get an accurate quote, you have to reach out to the supplier and ask them directly. Now, how do you get an accurate quote? Well, first of all, you want to be asking them what their MOQ is. MOQ stands for minimum order quantity. So this is the minimum number of units that you could order from the supplier. So for some suppliers, that might be 200 units, others it might be 500, and for others it might be 1,000. So it depends on the supplier. Now I will say that this is something that you can absolutely negotiate. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to negotiate on price, but you certainly can negotiate on the MOQ order. You could even suggest, hey, I'm willing to pay more per unit if you could lower the MOQ if it's too high and you don't want to place such a large inventory order for your first order. So ask them about what the minimum order quantity is, and then ask them for the pricing tiers. So pricing tiers, the price per unit depends on how much you're ordering. So if you're ordering 200 units, you're going to be paying a higher price than if you're ordering 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000. So generally speaking, the larger the quantity of your order, the cheaper the cost per unit. So they want to do that to incentivize you to place a larger order. So ask them about the pricing tiers for 500 units, 1,000 units, 1,500 units, and that can give you a better idea of, is it worth it to get a larger order for me at this time? Are the cost savings worthwhile? Now, the next thing you can ask is about customization. So if you are private labeling a product, chances are you're going to want to put your brand name on the product packaging and possibly customize it a little bit. So you want to ask them about the details of that, and in particular, you want to find out the cost. So the price that they quote you might not include the additional cost to put your brand name on the packaging or to customize the packaging. So inquire about those details because you want to make sure that the quote that you're getting is going to be as accurate as it can be. And the last thing you should ask them is about the packaging. So usually with a product, if you decide to, whatever product you're ordering, the supplier will include free packaging, which is very basic. It's just something very simple that just comes with the product free of charge. Now you can usually upgrade the packaging. Each supplier has, different options. Some suppliers have more packaging options than others, but it's good to see what those options are because maybe the basic packaging is just horrendous looking and you just don't want to sell that on Amazon, and then you prefer to pay a little bit extra to upgrade that packaging, or perhaps the packaging that it comes with is good for now, good enough for now, let's go with this, don't need to pay the extra cost. So ask them these questions because this is going to get you a much better idea of exactly how much this product is going to cost you. But what's also valuable is to start to build the relationship with the supplier, communicating with them and seeing, are they answering all my questions? Are they willing to work with me? How quick is the response time? You have to take into consideration that yes, you might be in a different time zone and respect that, but it also is valuable to see see, how quickly does the supplier get back to me, because you do want a supplier that wants your business and that is willing to communicate with you efficiently and in a time-sensitive manner. So number 3 is to know the different kinds of suppliers. So they are trading companies, wholesalers, and manufacturers, and they're all different. So trading companies and wholesalers will usually buy products from the manufacturers, and they will be reselling those products to you. Now, the difference between trading companies and wholesalers is that trading companies usually will specialize in a particular product category, whereas wholesalers will sell pretty much anything, anything that is a good selling product. And wholesalers usually have a lower MOQ, so the minimum order is lower, however, the cost is slightly higher. So understanding those differences. Now, manufacturers are actually producing in-house those products themselves. So they are manufacturing those products. So I can't say that any one is better than the other. There are benefits to working with a manufacturer who is producing the products themselves. You have more customization options. There are also benefits to working with a trading company that can get products from multiple suppliers and have more options for you, or a wholesaler where their product catalog is quite large. But I tend to prefer working with manufacturers. It's just a personal preference. You don't have to filter these out. It's just good to take note of it. It's good to understand if you are communicating with a manufacturer, a trading company, or a wholesaler. Now, you might notice that there are companies that are both. So you might find a manufacturer and a trading company, so they're 2 in 1. And so just taking note of that, again, it's not that there's one that's necessarily better than the other. They each have their advantages and disadvantages. It's just what's a personal preference for you. Number 4, the better way to search for products on Alibaba.com, RFQ. So if you don't know what product you want to sell and you just kind of want to browse the Alibaba.com catalog, then you can just search for the product or search for a particular niche in the search box, and you'll see a bunch of suppliers, a bunch of products pop up, which is great. You could totally do that. But if you know specifically what product it is that you want to sell, you know the product details, you know what it looks like, then the more efficient way to source this product, to find suppliers, is to take advantage of Alibaba's RFQ, which stands for Request for Quotation. So you can go to rfq.alibaba.com, and what you can do is you can submit a request. And when you submit this request, you are essentially specifying the details of the product it is that you wish to source. You could insert photos if you have photos. And then once you submit that request, within 15 minutes to an hour, you're going to have lots of qualified suppliers that are going to be producing those products for you. So rather than you having to go out and find suppliers, you can submit a request using the RFQ and have suppliers come to you. And this is just going to be much more time efficient for you, and it's going to help you find suppliers that are specifically sourcing the product that you want to sell. Now, before I share with you my last couple tips, and if you stay tuned to the end of the video, I'm going to be sharing with you a couple of bonus tips. I want to take this time to share with you the Alibaba March Expo. So March is typically the time of the year where global suppliers are onboarding new products to their product catalog. So thousands and thousands of new products are arriving and are being introduced during this month. And typically there are in-person exhibitions where people can go and the suppliers will present these products. But due to COVID, everything has been shifted online, which is great for all of us who are living internationally because we don't have to travel anywhere. So Alibaba.com will be hosting the March Expo. It's going to be the biggest expo in the world, and you're going to be able to see thousands of new products from the best suppliers. So Alibaba is going to be introducing something new called Trendy Hunter, which helps you see the top 10 products in each category every single month. Now, I love this idea because for us private label sellers, if you don't know what the next product is that you want to sell, this could be a great way to get some new ideas, to get some inspiration. As you know, Alibaba's got lots of data points. They know a lot. They've got a huge catalog. They know what products are selling. And so they're using this information to share with you what are the top 10 products in each category. So this could be a great idea for some new product inspiration. Now, during the March Expo, Alibaba will announce the Elite Partner Event, which allows you to discover the top quality, pre-vetted suppliers from all over the world. So every month, 10 of the best suppliers will be highlighted and able to display their products. Now, I love this idea because, again, this is an easy way for me to find out who are the best suppliers and what products are they selling. All the suppliers during the Elite Partner event are carefully vetted by Alibaba, and they have to go through a strict process in order to be selected into the event. Let's just take this first supplier as an example. As you can see, there's a big Elite Partner banner here showing that they have been selected into this event. Those elite partners often have their own patented technology. You can see that the supplier has something called copper shield fabric, which claims the materials they manufacture can self-sanitize and be laundry-free for 15 days. Those are great selling points you can directly put in your product description if you choose to work with this supplier. Of course, it also has lots of certificates. If you scroll down the page, you can see the supplier has a rating of 4.5 out of 5. In fact, suppliers in the Elite Partner Program on average have a super high rating of 4.8 out of 5. They have a whopping 91.4% on-time delivery rate. If you consider those products are often shipped outside the USA, this is actually a very impressive number. The suppliers in the Elite Partner Program are also guaranteed to respond to your request super fast. As you can see, this supplier has a 91.4% response rate. We all know how hard it is to grab a real support person answering your questions when shopping online, right? Well, if you talk to those suppliers, you will not have this issue. If you're new to Alibaba.com and you have no idea what suppliers you should choose out of millions, then the Elite Partner event is a good resource for you to start with. You can check the link in the description below to grab the list. So let's get back to our tips. With tip number 5, check the supplier's product catalog. So once you've found a supplier that you like, it's helpful to click on their page to view their full catalog and see what other products they sell, what other niches or categories they are selling products in. Now, I like to do this because number 1, it's helpful for me to determine whether or not this is a supplier that I could work with long term. Say if I want to build a brand in the fitness niche and the first product I want to sell is some sliding discs, then that's great, but what else does this supplier sell? Do they sell other products in the fitness space? If so, then this supplier is a supplier I could possibly work with long term. I could source my second, my third, my fourth product from the same supplier, and this just makes a lot less work for me having to find a new supplier for my future products. So it's worth looking into their product catalog to see if there are other products that pique your curiosity or products that you might be interested in selling in the future. Now, tip number 6 is to get samples. So once you've contacted a number of suppliers and you've kind of narrowed down that list to your top 3 suppliers, I recommend getting a sample from each of those 3 suppliers. It's important because you need to see the product, you need to feel the product, you need to use your senses to experience the product, and you can't do that from your computer screen. So it's really helpful to have them ship you those samples, and yes, it will cost you $30, $60 to have those samples shipped to you, but it's going to be well worth it because ultimately, if you're going to be a brand owner, you want to be selling the best quality products. You want to make sure that you are the top of the line, and you want your customers to have a fantastic experience with your brand. You don't want them to have products that fall apart or that are low quality, and you don't want the negative reviews that come with that. So it is important to get samples from your suppliers. They understand that. They're more than happy to ship you samples. You just have to request it. So again, I do recommend getting one sample from 3 unique suppliers so that you can compare the samples and you can determine which of these suppliers is producing the highest quality product. Now I'm going to give you a couple of bonus tips because you stuck with me all the way to the end of this video, and if you have enjoyed it, please do give me a thumbs up and let me know in the comment section if you have any questions about the process so far or any questions about Alibaba.com. I'll do my best to answer you. So the first bonus tip is to submit your deposit. So once you have received your samples and you've decided what supplier you'd like to move forward with, you then will be placing your order. And in order for your manufacturer to start production, they are going to require a sample from you. Now the tip is to make sure that this deposit is no more than 30% of the order total. It doesn't need to be 50% or 70%. 30% is plenty for them to start manufacturing. And then once the goods are manufactured, you can pay the remaining 70% balance. Now the last bonus tip is to get the products inspected by a third-party inspection agency. So what this means is that a third party that isn't affiliated with your supplier will come to the supplier's facility and will manually inspect the products within your order. Whether they inspect 10% of the inventory, 50% of the inventory, or 100% of the inventory is your choice. And you can choose how much you want them to inspect. But the point is that you want to make sure that they are passing the inspection so that the products that you received as a sample match the products that you're receiving in your order, and that they're high quality, so that when you ship them, when they're sent to your house or an Amazon warehouse, that there aren't any damaged items or items that are just not up to standard. So hire a third-party inspection agency. And another thing is that if you do hire a third-party inspection agency, you want to hold off on paying the balance until the inspection agency notifies you that they have passed the inspection. So if they haven't passed the inspection, then you don't have to pay the remaining balance. You can ask them, hey, there's 10 units that are broken. Could you please supply me with 10 new units? Or you can ask them to just remedy the situation. You have to communicate with the supplier. And once the situation has been remedied and the inspection passes, then you can pay the remaining balance. So it's valuable because if you have already paid 100% of the order, then it doesn't really incentivize the supplier to help fix things for you or to come to terms with you. So I recommend doing that. So those are my bonus tips for you. And if you aren't sure where to find an inspection agency, Alibaba offers it. It's something that you can get when you place your order with Alibaba. They do have third-party inspection agency. It doesn't cost much, so that could be a great option for you. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you want to learn more about Alibaba.com, they've got a YouTube channel, which I'll be linking down below. Really great information, helpful videos where you can learn more about suppliers and about navigating the Alibaba.com website and understanding how you can best find suppliers. I also have another video that I will link in the description box below about how to find the best suppliers on Alibaba.com. So if you want step-by-step guidance, that's something that I kind of take you through on a screen share and show you how to do that. So I've been talking long enough. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Again, give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and be sure to check out the March Expo that's coming up real soon, because there's going to be thousands of new products that suppliers are going to be displaying on Alibaba.com. So a lot of new product opportunities there. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.